News Now Sunrise.
Welcome back, everybody. We're coming up on the one-year anniversary of the New Year's fireworks explosion in Aliamanu that killed 6 people and injured more than 20 others. Officials are stepping up enforcement to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. And Department of Law Enforcement Director Mike Lambert joins us this morning about those efforts. Good morning. Aloha.
Good morning.
So tell us about this buyback event that's coming up.
Right. So next week, Sunday, we'll be doing a buyback from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're partnering with the Honolulu Police Department, so we'll be having it out at their academy out in Waipahu. And we're really hoping to gain some compliance. We understand that the law is new, and if you had acquired them prior to it or not understanding the new ramifications, we're giving everybody an opportunity to do the right thing and turn them in.
And you had a buyback event earlier in the year, right? How did that go? What are you hoping to get more this year?
So there was a smaller amount than we had hoped, but a lot of times that we think it's about building trust. Some of the feedback that we got was that, are you guys really gonna not, take license plates and faces? And I think we're hoping that nothing came of that. People turned it in. There was nothing that, followed up in regards to enforcement. So we're hoping that those that maybe kind of held out to see how that was gonna play out are gonna go ahead and turn it on in. And it's kind of gonna be a building effort, right? We know that we can't change people's minds in 1 year. So what we want to try to do is, if I can get a 10 or 15% reduction in the amount of people that let off this New Year's, and then, subsequently years after that, we kind of build or have more compliance, and ultimately that's what we want.
Yeah, especially since, a lot of the argument for this is it's so ingrained in our culture to have the fireworks, these at homes. So how do you go about changing that whole mindset?
Right, and it takes years because, for me, I grew up here in Hawaii. I grew up letting off, but it was bottle rockets and jumping jacks. And now we're talking about 6-inch shells, and it just really escalated to being very, very dangerous. So you think about that, I'm 45, so at least 30 years, to get to where we are today. It's going to take at least 10 years to walk it back to where maybe it's a little more reasonable. Maybe we can start talking about, reintroducing sprinklers, at least into Honolulu, and try to regain some level of sanity, right, as it relates to fireworks.
Yeah, and especially with these stricter laws, because they really wanted to crack down. Do you think these will actually work this year?
I'm hoping, and the sad part is that we're going to have to make examples of people. The two, highlights of the new law that we want to let people know is that now the homeowners are responsible. So, you go over to grandma's house for her party and you let off fireworks in the garage or whatever, the driveway. Grandma could get hit with a misdemeanor depending on how much you brought to the house. She might get hit with a felony. So, people
even
really
if
have to...
she didn't know that you were bringing the fireworks over.
Right. So, that'd be part of the investigation. But we'd say, hey, auntie, did you... Oh, I saw. I never realized it was my fault. I figured that's on them. Like, no, the way the law is written now, if it's on that property, the homeowner is essentially responsible for that. So what we're hoping to do is to tell people, hey, you hit grandma in trouble, right? Or better yet, local style, right? Like, oh, I'm not really into it, but I never say nothing, Now we can say, hey, get it out of my garage because I'm not trying to get busted for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So I think the law in of itself is trying to give people the opportunity to say no versus, local style is like, I don't want to bum everybody's trip. So we're
and
hoping...
these fines are big.
They're huge.
Yeah,
so,
remind people real quick, what's that?
So if you get hit with the B felony, say if a family member brings over quite a bit, that could be upwards of $25,000. It could be 10 years in prison. For a C felony, 5 years, $10,000. So it's not chump change. And the attitude with it is if you got all this money to burn, literally, well, then you get plenty money to pay these fines then, right? If it's no big deal setting off hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of fireworks every year.
Okay, and real quick, we're running out of time, but you are doing the enforcement with port searches and doing that part of it.
Yes, so we have actively been taking leads and tips. We even have an analytic to try to look for manifests to show when there's irregularities, and we're tracking that, as well as we're utilizing drones in our neighborhood enforcement. We're going to start ramping them up. We've been talking with the different counties, particularly Honolulu, because, vast majority of people are in this county, and probably starting for sure after the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to be out in the neighborhoods all week long looking for it. So give you guys tips, laws.hawaii.gov, call them into 911, however you want to get it to us, because what we're going to do is wherever we see the most calls coming from, then that's where we're going to send out the drone teams to go ahead and do some enforcement.
All right. Really cracking down this year. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much. joining us this morning. More information on our website, too, of course, on that buyback next week. All right, 7:16 the time.